Hi, everybody. Today I am talking to Mel Ireton, who has several businesses to mention, one of which is a business coaching company and a couple of online shops and quite a history of incredible work. So welcome, Mel, to the We Know Lanark County podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I guess the first question is, how did your business coaching take off? Where did that come from?
Well, I spent quite a few years, 10 to be exact, in professional sports. So I was a director of operations there, doing a lot of different jobs. My skill set was massive, and when that came to an end, I kind of didn't know what to do. So I was teaching the business program at Algonquin College, and then that moved from Perth to Ottawa. So I found myself going, okay, what do I do? And feeling like I was confident in my skill, but really not sure what to do with it, but also knowing I didn't want to be commuting into the city and back and forth again. So I started doing virtual business consulting for a company in the United States from my home, and absolutely loved that. I loved the flexibility of being able to work from my pajamas. And we're talking like 4 years ago. So this is before everybody got used to it. Yeah. And so I'm from there, and they do business coaching as well. And I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. So I kind of dabbled with it there, went on to do my coaching certification here, and have just branched out into that here. And it's really just come naturally. It's been kind of a full load of everything that I've learned in the past, everything I've taken in school, everything I taught. It just depends on the client that you're working with, but it's something that I can pull from my experience and my education and use to help people. And it's something I love doing.
Yeah, you can tell it's something that you're really passionate about. I think I saw that you were working with Ottawa Fury. Is that where you were before you started being an entrepreneur?
Yes. So I was the director of operations of the Ottawa Fury, and I was there for 10 years. So I was with them prior to even building the stadium at Lansdowne. So I went through that whole process. We went from, recruiting the players, bringing them in from all over the world, doing their contracts. And then on the other side of things, doing uniforms, dealing with agents and picking up turf. So it was really interesting and it really huge. Like, how do you put that in a resume? So it was a really great experience. I met a lot of great people, and it had its time. Unfortunately, the team no longer exists, but we did make it to the finals. Just the second year that we went pro, and that was pretty exciting in New York. And it was a very sad day, but we didn't win. But it was still, soccer was always my passion right from a kid, so it was interesting. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that sort of position would give you a lot of experience in all the moving parts that you need to bring everything together from so many different angles into making one thing work.
You really do. And it was a very male oriented environment. The team was male, and all the coaching staff were male, and most of them were from Portugal the first couple of years. But it was, it was really interesting. It was, I all of a sudden had to speak French again, and I hadn't done that since high school. So, you really pull on different areas, and you do really learn to manage and multiple tasks at multiple times. But I also realized through all of that I was literally working my life away. So I was, it was 2 hours in the car. I was working around the clock. So, everything happens for a reason, and I was sad to leave there, but at the same time, it's all worked out exactly as it should.
Well, it led you to this exactly. Current job. It's not really a job. It's more of
it's a passion.
What do you call it? A passion project, a career, and no more job.
It isn't, and it doesn't feel that way. When I'm helping someone, I enjoy it. When no matter what part of it I'm doing, it feels like, I guess it's that ability to have the control over, if you're owning your own business, you have a bit more control over what's happening. And I really appreciate that. And, I don't forget what the past has taught me either. So it is a very rewarding career or passion, however you word it.
And I'm sure all of those experiences are you building your own business helps you help others build their businesses. Like what's your typical clientele look like?
For coaching, my typical clientele, my focus is on entrepreneurs who are either wanting to get a program online and they have some technical experience, or who are struggling with social media or technology in general. Maybe that, they don't have a website and they're trying to do that themselves, or they need help doing it. So part one is coaching, where we'll set out your plan of action, and we'll go through those steps to what needs to happen to get you to where you want to be. And then the consulting part of it, where I will actually sit with you and, this morning I met with a client who I actually taught her how to put new images into her website, and how to do a video on Facebook and do a paid Facebook ad, and not do a blog, or not do a boost, but do an
Right.
actual ad. So it's those kinds of things, and people are afraid to just jump into it because they don't know how. And I always tell people, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So
Yeah.
you have to start somewhere, whether you feel that you're a dinosaur when it comes to technology, or you feel like you know quite a bit and you're ready to get into doing podcasts or webinars.
Yeah.
I've done right up to launches for many companies in the US, and there's a really large spectrum of clients that I work with.
Mhm.
But I do focus on the small business. That is who I love to work with, is to work on those small bricks and mortar businesses who are trying to get something online, especially with the situation we've been in for the
Right.
last 8 months.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that is constantly changing. Like the internet and Google AdWords even have changed so much, not just in the last 12 months, but the last decade.
Yeah.
And and all of that is so confusing for a lot of people unless you're in it every day. And then, the next social media craze, like, what do we have to do next and what app do we need? And do you find people get overwhelmed with all of the options and you just have to focus on one, or what's the strategy there?
Yeah, most people get overwhelmed with technology, and especially when you don't understand it. You're not sure if you need everything, and it's overwhelming to think, okay, oh my goodness, I need to be posting on Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, and I don't have time for that, because it literally is a whole world that could involve a
Yeah.
job for someone. But yeah, so yes, people that come in with that impression quite often, but we very quickly focus on getting one thing rolling, and then add as they're able to, because I don't want people to feel overwhelmed by technology. I just taught one of my clients how to use Canva, which is a graphic software, and
Ah,
she was the type of person who is absolutely petrified of things, and she loves it. It's like her favorite thing to do now is to create ads on Canva. So
it's
it
such a
just
fun creative outlet to
it
use that
is. I
program.
love it
Yeah.
myself too. Yeah, it is so fun because you can play with it, and it's like art class. And
Yeah.
it's cool. So it truly is. It's different for every person, but yes, the overwhelm is prominent throughout probably 99% of the clients that I have,
Yeah.
because they feel like they should be doing more, instead of looking at, okay, what can I do now that is going to give me the best conversion in terms of sales? What can I do now with the time that I have that I'm going to see results from?
Mhm.
um, and that's where, if you can do something consistently, which is always really important in social media. If you can do something consistently, or revamp your website or rebrand, it can really give a new life to your business, and give you a
Yeah.
whole other outlet of conversions being your sales. So it really truly is something that is going to always change. And I think when you stop looking at it as a hurdle, and start looking at it as something, okay, this is here for me to use, and it can be completely free.
Mm.
How can I use this? And that's what I'm here for, is to show you how to use it, and to teach people how to use it, and get them comfortable with it, so that it isn't as scary. It's like going to college or university for your first day. You're terrified, and then a week later you're like, this is fantastic. So it's the same thing. It's just, as an adult, we don't have a whole lot of those experiences. We can't self-talk through.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that sort of helps to shift into the We Shop Local websites that you've started.
Yes.
So you live in Perth and that's where you spend most of your time, but you've also branched out to Carleton Place. For people who haven't seen them yet, what are those websites? What do they look like?
It came about because of the pandemic starting, and of course my niche market being clients who didn't know how to use technology, and then all of a sudden we had this situation where you absolutely had to be using technology
Mhm.
because everything was closed. So I came up with the thought of, okay, what if we put everybody in Perth, being my town, online onto one platform where you could go online and you could shop from all of the businesses and look for all of the services that are here. So that is the end goal. We've only been up and running not even a month yet, so it's been 3 weeks in Perth. And what it looks like is essentially you log on to a website, and it's a mini e-commerce platform where you can shop from over 40 businesses and artisans. So we don't just have bricks and mortar, we also have home-based businesses. We don't have M2M or MLM businesses, but we do have businesses that are based out of their home. So we have soap makers from their home. We have knitters, so Aunt Michelle knits, and we have candle makers and all sorts of really cool things that I didn't even know existed in our community. So
Yeah,
it's been, even, I've lived here my whole life and I didn't know that we had such a huge array of products and services available. So it's been really fun to create, and it's been amazing getting to know all of the business owners. They're very excited. So of course, when you have excited business people, you're excited. So
of
the whole
course.
experience has been great. It's been a lot of work uploading the products, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fantastic. And Carleton Place just is the same setup. It is partnered in Carleton Place with the Chamber of Commerce. So they are helping
Mhm.
out with uploading the products. And the chamber members are going to be listed primarily on the site for right now. And we're looking at expanding that and growing it in Carleton Place as well to get it to be as big of a benefit as it is in Perth.
Yeah, I noticed, there were because I do a lot of shopping in Perth also. I just love the boutiques. I noticed on your website, like you said, the soap makers and the candle makers, and there were some greeting cards that were just beautiful. So lots of really interesting things. So can is that like a typical online store where I can order it and pay one time and get it shipped, or do I have to shop at each store individually? How does that work?
No, it's like a typical online store. So you're able to actually go online and shop from all the merchants at once and check out and pay once. You
Amazing.
can choose to do pickup or you can choose to do delivery. The nice thing about it too is it's really brought the shops together as a community a little bit. So people are able to, if someone's online and they're shopping and they order from a shop that's down the street from the other, then I'm able to coordinate that for it to be a one-stop pickup instead of
Mhm.
stopping at 5 different places. You can just grab everything from one location because everyone's so close knit. Um, so yeah, it absolutely is very similar to the big e-commerce platforms. You can do pickup, you can do shipping, and it still has that small town flair. So you still have that small town feel of a real store with real people. You're not talking to a bot on the chat. It's my staff and I speaking with you when you go into our chat for help. So it still has that personal feel to it as well.
Yeah. I think the nice thing about it is that it eliminates the objection to shopping local where, you can argue that you can go into one big box store and get everything you need, but you can also do that here and get everything you need at once. If the small businesses can see it as a collaboration instead of competition, I think that's so powerful, especially in a small community.
It is, and they absolutely do see it that way. They're promoting each other, they are supporting each other. They're absolutely not seeing it as though it's a competitive environment. They're seeing it as, okay, we have an economy to support and a community to support here, and we support it, and we want everyone else around us to support it as well. I mean, when you look at it, if you don't have the support of the merchants and the businesses in your area, they're not going to be there. And what kind of a town are you going to have at that point? It's just going to be big box stores, which is not what our small towns are. It's not what the towns are that we live in and that we know. And it's really important to support those businesses
Mm.
so that that does stay consistent. They're working really hard, they're trying really really hard to keep their stores full and manage shipping delays, um, and to manage everything else that's been happening, and they're doing a really great job of it.
That's so great. It's so nice that you've been able to do that. What sort, like, I guess in both of these businesses, for the coaching and the online store, what do you think are the biggest myths that people think about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
I think there's a myth behind coaching in that what it is. I think a lot of people don't understand what a coach is. You hear that, well, why would I need a coach for that? And it's the same as, like I came from sports. So in sports, you had a coach who kind of led the players through their practice and got them out onto the playing field and end result win the game. That was their goal. So with a coach for business, it's the same idea. We go through the practice, we see what everybody's good at, we put everything into place, and our end goal is whatever you want it to be. If it's whether it's 50,000 in sales, or it's to create a new website, or whatever your personal goal may be, a coach will take you through all of that and help you through to reach your end goal. So I think that's one of the major myths. And as far as the We Shop Local business goes, I haven't really come across any, I wouldn't say myths. We're pretty brand new. So
Brand new.
it's hard to say at this point. I think with that one is probably that we are independently owned and run. There's been some talk that it's run by the towns, and they're not.
Okay.
So, but nothing major.
So basically, with the coaching, the definition of a coach changes from one person to the next because there's no one boxed package for each person, right? It's all individualized. Is that what you do?
There isn't. As a coach, you have certain, I use NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, to, really connect with people and to understand how they learn. So you're taught those different things when you take your coaching course. I do have an online program, which I will be launching, which will take you through the specific steps to launching your online business. And that's kind of cookie cutter. But when you're doing one-on-one coaching, or even a group coaching, it is very much individualized because nobody's got the same goal. You might have people with the same goal, but one could be in a clothing business and one could be in a furniture business. So it's going to be slightly
Right.
different. So yeah, the thing with coaching is that it is very specific to the individual that you're working with, and it's very personal.
So how do you know if you need a coach? What does that point look like for somebody who's been running a business for a while or who's just starting out? Why would they come to you for help? What's the trigger?
I hear a lot of the time, I've been wanting someone to help me with this for a long time, or I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I didn't know where to start,
Mm,
or I didn't know how to do it. So that would be where you could turn to a coach. So if you have this goal, let's say, to get an online store created for your business, but you don't know how to start or who to even talk to, that's where you could call and speak to a
mhm.
coach. It's really anywhere where you're kind of stuck, and that will carry over into life coaching as well. When you're feeling a little bit stuck in life and you're not sure where your career path is to go, you might look for a career coach. There are relationship coaches. If you're struggling with divorce and you're not sure where to go next, there's relationship coaches, and they're people who are there to kind of support you, but not provide counseling. So they're not there to counsel you. They're there to help you figure things out and support you through it. And that's where I do both the coaching and consulting, because with the consulting, I actually will guide you through it, and I will help you to find the answer.
Mm,
I will give you when it comes to technology, it's not so personal as far as, well, it's not personal preference. It's kind of, technology is its own beast that we have to navigate. So I will hold your hand and navigate you through that, a little bit more than as a life coach, where things are kind of, you'll ask a lot of questions to get people to really decide on their own where they want to go and how they want to move forward.
that's awesome. I find a lot of small business owners are really good at what they do, whether that's, making food or making clothing or cutting hair, and they're really, really good at that, but they just don't know the rest of it. You're not just doing that one thing, you're also a business owner. And for someone who's come from, a regular 9 to 5 job and now they're into becoming an entrepreneur, and they, now they're a CEO, and a CFO and a COO. Like they have to be all those hats. And it's really difficult to get to that next level, or even just to get started. So I imagine the coaching is such a great help for those people who need a boost, or who need, just maybe they're on a plateau and want to get to that next level.
You're so right, and that's a really good, understanding of the small business owner, because that's exactly what I do run into. And it's sometimes it's not even that they don't know. I sometimes get people who are like, I just don't want to do it. I want to sell clothes, and I don't want to do any of the other things.
Yeah.
Where I'm there to be like, well, you have to. You've got to be the full package, or you have to hire someone to do that for you, because it's very important. So yes, you're absolutely right, and I absolutely strive to be that person that can help people, and to walk them through it, and to really understand. I do understand how busy it is to run a business. I do understand that you just want to do what you're good at, and you want to do what comes naturally to you, and that learning something new can be a little bit challenging, and will go at a pace that people are comfortable with.
Right. So if you were going to look for an ideal client, who would that be right now?
Ooh, right now, given our current situation, it's anyone who, I think it's so crucial to really be on top of being online with their business, because we are kind of just balancing on we don't know which way things are going to tip. We're kind of on a seesaw. So it's a matter of getting your technology to at least a level where you can be selling products online. And I'm not saying that just through We Shop Local. We Shop Local is there, but it also doesn't take away from having your own website.
Right.
And you can link in with a website, but it's really important to have an online presence. So right now, I think it's most crucial for me to be working with people who do not have an online presence, or who want to up their game with their online presence. Most of my clients right at the moment are people who are trying to do that, and they're people who are trying to get their website up and running, or they don't like the way their website looks, or who don't, they want to know how to use Instagram, or what's the best money to spend on Facebook to promote ads, how to do that, and and not waste your money, and get the best sales rates for that. So those are my ideal clients, is those small business owners, who are, and I do just work with small business owners who are looking to get themselves online and start using social media and technology to their benefit.
Well, it's nice to have somebody who's in our community, who's local, who's a real person, because there are so many, scams out there that are taking advantage of people who are spending thousands of dollars on something that's not going to do anything for them. So it's so nice to have someone like you in our community who people can go to, and who they can trust. This is a small town. If you don't do a good job,
Yeah.
the word will spread. So
absolutely.
It's so great to have you as part of the community.
Thank you.
We're just going to wrap up here, but I have a couple of questions that I'm asking everybody, just some quick fire.
Okay.
Don't think about it kind of questions. So the first one is, what is the best hidden gem in Lanark County that you love, whether it's a store or a piece of nature or whatever? What do people not know about that you love?
Actually, Ragged Chutes. It's somewhere I've gone as a kid, and I don't actually think you're allowed to go there anymore, but it was a waterfall that I've taken to since I was a kid. And I took my daughter there.
Where is that?
It's up past, maybe it's in Maberly Elfin, and I think it's privately owned now, but it was kind of, we went there, I went there as a child, and then I went there to party as a teenager, and then I went back when I was an adult, and then again when I had my daughter, and it's beautiful.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
And then the second question is more about you and your business. What is the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Ooh. I think the best piece of advice that I've ever gotten is just to not take anything personally. Not
So
to
true.
take anything personally. So, and that applies in so many different ways to so many different things. And you can only control what you can control, and that's been a really good lesson for me.
That's very wise and a perfect spot to end our conversation. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And I wish you all the best with your coaching business. And thank you for these We Shop Local websites. What are the websites again so people can look at them?
Sure. That's www.weshoplocalperth.com, and we have www.weshoplocalcp.com.
Awesome. And where can people find you for coaching online?
www.iretoncoaching.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and take good care.
Yes, you as well. Thank you so much.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.